Yeah, absolutely. And I'm wondering, Dickey, if we can get into things a little bit more with our sidebar.
Yes, yes, I'd love to get in the sidebar. The sidebar is a segment for the stories that kind of get pushed aside, but are still worth our attention. And what I'd like to talk about is that the new Big Brother. You know, the new Big Brother isn't watching; he's entertaining us. And I think Chuck Palahniuk in his book Lullaby, great book by the way, he really nailed it when he wrote, and I quote: "Big Brother isn't watching; he's singing and dancing, busy holding your attention every moment you're awake, making sure your imagination withers until it's as useful as your appendix." And I think what Palahniuk is describing is it's not surveillance capitalism; it's entertainment capitalism. And it's a system that doesn't need to monitor our behavior so long as it keeps us distracted, fragmented, and endlessly stimulated. And I think it's very clear in these two trends that sort of seem unrelated, but I've just been noticing in the headlines. And one is the blind box toys, and then the other is TikTok de influencing. So, blind box toys are these collectible figures you buy in sealed packaging, but you don't know what's inside until you open it. And the genius behind these toys is that it's not really in the toy itself, but it's in the moment before the reveal. Researchers have found that dopamine doesn't spike when we're satisfied; it spikes in anticipation of reward. And now capitalism has figured this out, and it sells us the high of hoping, not the toy itself. And we've really become addicted to the almost, the almost satisfied, the almost fulfilled. And it's this loop that turns consumption into a continuous ritual. The thrill of getting of maybe getting what you want, and then that is followed up immediately by the urge to try again. And if you look at the de-influencing on TikTok, it's this, it may sound kind of subversive, where creators are telling you what not to buy, but most of them are just rerouting your desire to smarter purchases, cheaper alternatives. And so it's perhaps a less wasteful consumption, but it's still consumption. And one beauty influencer put it that it's quite ironic to talk about consumerism, she feels, as a content creator, but she also believes that there's a balance that can be struck. And I'm curious about what that balance is. I don't think it's really a questioning of the system. It's just a tweaking of it. And so this criticism is becoming content itself. The rejection of buying this is becoming a brand of, you should buy that. And it's really, rather than de-influencing, I think it's more just a re-influencing. And I
Mm.
think that quote from the influencer really shows the deeper cost, the sort of slow erosion of imagination itself. We can't imagine ourselves outside of the system that we're critiquing, except by doing what we're critiquing. So we can no longer picture our freedom outside of the act of choosing between what product to buy. So I don't think Big Brother needs to watch us. I don't think he needs to censor us. We are doing it ourselves. We're distracting ourselves. We're consuming our own ability to focus and to reflect and to imagine. And that's what makes this version of capitalism so effective and insidious. And it doesn't threaten, it seduces us. It fills us to the brim until there's nothing left for anything real. And we unless we imagine a life beyond the next scroll, the next boxing, or the next recommendation, we're going to stay trapped in this system that perpetually feeds on our longing and also makes sure that it never ends. And I think, yeah, Chuck Palahniuk ends with this. His quote ends with, "With the world always filling you, no one has to worry about what's in your mind. With
Mm.
everyone's imagination atrophied, no one will ever be a threat to the world." And I think that warning is so relevant to today. And these articles to me are really point to something deeper that's worth considering. When our imagination is withered so much to the point that freedom is only conceivable through our other forms of consumerism, it's just evidence that we're losing the ability to envision something different, like genuine alternative to what we have now. And this as a population being trapped in the cycle of consumption and anticipation of what we might be receiving, we're not able to organize effectively for systemic change, which, you look left and right, behind you, in front of you, we see that we're in a time period where we need change. And so I think this new form of Big Brother, this entertainment capitalism, is one of the most successful forms of social control.
Folks, we are out of time here on the Disinfo Detox, but we want to hear what you think about the sidebar. So leave it in the comments. Let us know. Thank you so much to Sydney Sullivan and Dickey. And thank you to all of you detoxers for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Awesome.
Great.
Hey, detoxers. Thanks for tuning in to the Disinfo Detox. If you're enjoying the content, head over to nolanhigdon.substack.com for full access to the podcast as well as other original essays. Want to support the detox? Consider becoming a paid subscriber. You'll get early and exclusive access to interviews, podcasts, essays, and more. If a subscription's not in the cards for you right now, no worries. Just like, share, subscribe, comment, and follow. It helps grow the audience and spread the word. Until next time, stay sharp, stay skeptical, and keep detoxing the disinfo.